Hi Leo, happy early birthday and welcome back to the Astrology 33 channel. This is your July 2024 tarot reading. Thank you to those of you who like, viewed, shared, and subscribed to the channel. I appreciate all of that. For those of you new to the channel, as far as what we have in front of us, the Celtic crossbred as always, and also pulled the 4 agreements and wisdom of the oracle card for you guys. We're actually going to start the reading off by rolling those astrology as we have in front of us to get an idea of where your focus should be as far as that goes. Alright, we have the North Node, and the North Node is actually in Aries, which is your ninth house of philosophy, higher learning, and foreign affairs. Speaking of Aries, we also see Aries in your other dice as well, so yeah, it could definitely be a focus on area of life for you guys this month, and I already mentioned what ninth house energy is. And then 3. So third house for you guys is actually Libra, and astrologically speaking, we have the South Node there. So interesting. These are all pretty much playing on the same axis. We have the Aries and Libra axis for you guys. So it could definitely be a push-pull dynamic with your third house and ninth house this month. But we'll keep that in mind as we go through the main spread. In the main situation position, we have the Six of Cups, Scorpio energy, and challenging that, we have the Ace of Swords. So to me, this says that you really most likely want to reach out to someone from your past, and the problem is you might just really be struggling trying to think of how would you even open a conversation, right? So to me, that tells me that most likely there's been a lot of time that's passed within the situation since you've been in contact with this person. Now, Scorpio energy for you guys is 4th house, so this can even be a family member, possibly that you've been estranged from for a while. If not that, though, it could even just be saying maybe someone that you've known for a long time, or someone that you feel at home with in general, but for whatever reason, maybe there's a falling out there, and possibly wanted to come back and get that back on track. But again, like I said, you might feel like, okay, I want to do this, but how would I even start the conversation? Right, in the foundation position, we have the Wheel of Fortune. So this is Jupiter energy here, and it's actually in Gemini, which is interesting. Gemini is the natural ruler of the 3rd house. But yeah, could just be saying that maybe with Jupiter moving through that sign, maybe this is part of what brought this back to the forefront of your mind. So again, like I said, maybe this was someone. Again, it doesn't have to be a family member. It could have been a friend, romantic partner, you name it. But it looks like for whatever reason, as we move through Gemini season, all those energies passing across Jupiter might have really just been bringing it to your mind and making you feel like now was a good time to try to get back in contact with this person. All right, in the past position, we have the Hermit. So yeah, maybe this is saying that you've really been thinking this through for a long time and trying to figure out what the best approach would be, right? For some of you, there could even be some kind of financial tie to this too, given that for you guys, Virgo energy represents your 2nd house of finances, possession, self-worth. So, yeah, so for some of you, this could even possibly be a career opportunity that you want to return to from the past. All right, in the present position, we have the Moon. So at the time of recording this, we're going to have the full moon, well, first full moon, I should say, in Capricorn coming up soon. And then there's actually going to be another full moon in Capricorn in July, closer to the end of Cancer season. So, but given that this is in the present position, it's more likely pointing to this first one that's coming up right now that you guys might be feeling. So yeah, this could just be saying maybe you're feeling a little bit confused. Again, like we said, right, maybe you have this desire to do something, but you're like, but where do I even start, right? So that could be what you're feeling right now. And especially, like I said, if this is a financially related thing, seeing the full moon in your 6th house would point to why that might be the case. All right, in your future position, we have the 4 of Pentacles. So this is Capricorn energy here. And yeah, could just be saying that you really might be feeling a little bit closed off, right? A little bit reserved. Again, I feel like, you're really self-conscious about not making the wrong move around the situation. Um, so yeah, this and seeing the Pentacles again here. Now we're starting to see more Capricorn energy creep into the reading. It could definitely be related to work for you guys in some way too. But like I said, maybe this was an opportunity maybe you passed up on in the past, and now you want to revisit it. But there might be some other things you might have to get out of the way first. All right, and the position of your influence in the situation, we have the Queen of Pentacles. So yeah, to me, this says that you've had some level of success around whatever pathway you've been on up to this point. Again, like we said, given that this is the core card for Capricorn, could definitely be related to work. And I feel like this is something that you have a deep value for as well. But at the same time, it looks like, there's something that you want to see a shift in. Right. In the environment position, we have the King of Swords. So maybe this is part of the reason, right? Maybe you feel a little bit intimidated by this person for whatever reason. Maybe you feel like you would have like a cold response from them. So depending on how the situation played out in the past. So again, given that we're seeing a lot of pentacle energy, let's just give an example using the angle of finances, right? So let's just say maybe you left the job abruptly in the past because you got another opportunity, right? So you didn't really do the traditional, oh, I'll give them a 2 week notice and that will help set up the next person in my position, right? Things along those lines. So if you had a more abrupt departure and now you want to come back to it, you're like, maybe I burned some bridges there in the past, right? So how would I even go about approaching them to ask to come back? So it could just be one of those dynamics there. All right, and in the hopes or fears position, we have the King of Cups. So this is actually a Scorpio energy here. So yeah, I feel like this is saying that you hope that you'll be able to stand firm, right, and actually come forward and let people know what the situation is, right? Just be forthright about what you're feeling, being able to tap into those feelings as well, but also at the same time having some control over it, right? So you might want to express to them some regrets, but at the same time, you want to be very measured with how you do it too. All right, in the outcome position, we have the Nine of Swords. So yeah, unfortunately, I do have to say this looks like something that might still bother you as we get toward the end of July. And I do have to say, on one front, I could see what this would make sense astrologically speaking too, because for one, you're gonna have tons of energy moving through your 12th house, and 12th house could point to mental health in general, just overthinking things. So you could just be feeling a little bit overwhelmed with all that going on initially, and then on top of that, around the middle of July, Mercury in your sign is actually going to enter its shadow period because it's going to be retrograde in August in your sign. So that could be why you might already be feeling, okay, I'm revisiting these things in the past, I'm reevaluating how I want to approach these things going forward, right? So it'll just be one of those things where it's like a perfect storm of all those energies building up for you guys. All right, and bottom of the deck, we have the Seven of Pentacles. So yeah, to me, this is indicative of you guys, building up to a certain level, and given that Taurus energy for you guys is your 10th house of career, this is another indicator that this could be related to career for a lot of you, right? Maybe not all, but a lot of you. But yeah, it says that you might have built up to a certain level somewhere and then maybe started to have some regrets where you're like, okay, maybe when I first started this situation, it seemed like it was flowing very well, but now it seems like it's starting to, just give less returns for your efforts. And now maybe you're thinking, maybe where I was before was a better fit. All right, moving on to your Four Agreements card, we have don't take anything personally, and it says release self-judgment. All right, it says even the opinions you have about yourself are not necessarily true. Therefore, you don't need to take whatever you hear in your own mind. So yeah, interesting message there, right? Especially when we were just talking about the fact that you will have that Mercury retrograde in your sign in August, and the shadow period starts around mid-month, and we talked about all the stuff going on in your 12th house. That message seems to align really well with the Nine of Swords we see here, right? So if you guys are being hard on yourselves in some way, hopefully that message resonated with you. All right, and from the Wisdom Oracle, we have Deep Knowing. Here's the artwork, and numbers 43. All right. Excuse me. Central meanings says intuition, listening to the oracle within, empathy, hypersensitivity. The oracle's message. Intuition is the faculty that allows you to enter into a dialogue with source, the consciousness that you are a part of but cannot see with the naked eye. It's perplexing that people are taught to ignore this natural capacity to navigate their journeys, to access their inner guidance. Know that you have an ability to read between the lines and find all the truth that was missing when the story was told. This deep knowing allows you to open the door to wisdom far greater than what is available in the limitations of human experience. You are given information that may make no sense whatsoever to the logical mind or five senses, but which is 100% correct and true. The trick is to listen and then to act accordingly. You're now invited into the sacred dialogue of deep knowing, so tune in and trust your vibes. They will be right. Ask and you'll receive answers from unusual sources. So yeah, definitely an interesting message there, and it makes me think of the moon energy that we see there in the present, right? Because with the moon energy, the way it said that you might be presented with information that might not seem to make sense in a logical way of speaking, but it could actually legitimately be true. That's kind of how the moon could play out sometimes too, where you really might have to just feel things out. Like the example I used to give way back when I first started the channel was the moon is kind of like if all of a sudden the light goes out in a familiar room, right? So even if you're somewhat familiar with the room and feel like you can navigate your way around it, if the light all of a sudden goes out, you're going to be a lot more careful about how you move around everything, right? So similar thing there, where you might have to really feel things out a little bit more than normal. The relationship message says, there are occasions when you just know deep in your heart and soul that a person is going to play a deep and meaningful role in your life. Someone crosses your path and suddenly, out of the blue, you're connected at a level impossible to describe. That feeling marks a moment in time etched indelibly onto your soul. Someone is into your life who will be instrumental in your journey, so pay attention. Two hearts are calling to each other to begin an alchemical process. This is also a sign that your intuition about the person you care about is correct. Trust your heart to lead you now. Magic is about to happen. So yeah, definitely a positive message there, right? Especially for those of you if the person you would like to reconnect to is potentially a romantic partner from the past. And the prosperity message says, this is a time when your hunches will pay large dividends if you listen to them, take the risk, and act. Within you there is an oracular consciousness, a higher and deeper knowing that transcends the imaginations of the smaller thinking mind. At the deep level of your intuitive senses, you have an access point to the genius of the collective. The energies of all thinkers and creators, all inventors and leaders, and all that you need in order to leap into success are available to tune into. This is an act of listening intently. Past the busy mind, your genius awaits. So yeah, definitely a positive message there, and that last sentence almost made me think of like what we were talking about as far as there's going to be a lot of energy in your 12th house, but eventually it's all going to be in your sign too, right? So maybe it's just one of those things where it's a natural process that needs to play itself out in that regard. But hopefully that resonated for you guys. Once again, happy early birthday, and I'll see you all next month. All right, bye.